Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Glide Memorial Church celebration. We are so glad to have you in the house. This was supposed to be our test run today, so it was supposed to be just church folks, but I'm so glad they let y'all in. Where are you from? From Colorado. Well, welcome. And you? Wow, if I could even say that, I would let the world know. Azerbaijan. That's close to Colorado? It is good to see y'all and be in the house. You know, what we're talking about right now is this quantum spirit of beloved community. And I love how we are vigilant about this not yet over pandemic, but also as church folks, we have to be able to see the day when it's over. And that's the thing about church folks and tools of faith, is that you can see it in the spirit and in the imagination, as opposed to just seeing it on the spreadsheet. We can see cures, we can see possibilities, we can see healing, we can see justice, we can see peace, we can see liberation, you can see beloved community, you can see that there's enough resources to go around, you can see freedom. I love the quantum and the interflow properties of it. It says you can pray in the virtual and in person, you can gather in virtual and in person, you can organize in the virtual and in person. You can learn about racial justice in the virtual and in person. You can love in the virtual and in person. The interflow qualities of quantum love says that love is transcendent. Love allows you to be in two places at once and still be whole, still be indivisible, still be one thing, but just have many different experiences of the thing. So we welcome you to Glide Memorial Church. We are located on the corner of Taylor and Ellis here in the historic Tenderloin district of San Francisco, but we're also located on the virtual corners all over the world. And we are inviting the God of the interflow to move between belief systems, to move between races, to move between geographies, to move between genders, to move between classes, to move between ages, to move between secular humanisms and devout Christianities, to move between police brutalities and the brutalized, to move between you and I until, like water, love flows freely between us. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're beginning this exciting work of introducing the in-person celebration to the online celebration that we have been having for 15 months. So let me thank everybody online who has kept the church fire burning. We appreciate the ways that you have shown up and shown us that church can transcend any platform. And today, you'll hear the music sung. It'll be in person and it'll be on video. You'll feel the prayers wherever you need to feel the prayers. And the sermons will be preached in person and on every platform. So please extend us some grace as we try to get it not right, as we try to get it glide, which is never just quite right, but it's us. And you all are welcome to be a part of this radically inclusive, extravagantly welcoming, open and affirming, and unconditionally loving community for all people. You, our family and friends, new and old, are welcomed here. So let's call this celebration open. Let's call it sacred. And let's pray that whatever reason you came here, and for whatever you need to hear, that you hear it and experience it in this celebration today. I just want to do a little bit of level setting. You had to check in when you came in. They had to temperature scan you. And I think they might have frisked you and did a ear probe or something. I told them to go easy on y'all just in case. There was an iPad, and while you're inside, we're socially distancing. But don't think about the space between us. Like when we're online, we're like thousands of miles apart sometimes, but we feel like we're close together because we get to see into people's homes when we're online, and we feel really connected with each other. So when you think about the space between you, think about your ability to expand your heart to feel it. Like you should just practice being expansive and being able to reach from there to there just by opening your heart up. And that is what we hope you will do. And we're asking you to keep your mask on. And so we pray to the God and the Spirit and the Saint Tyra Banks, who will teach us how to smize, and that's smile with your eyes. Like that. Thank you. Okay, stop it. So yes, we also said don't hug anyone. And I didn't say don't love anyone. I didn't say don't look into their eyes. I didn't say don't call their names. I didn't say don't get excited. I didn't say let the energy dissipate, but let it be felt across the room. We are changing. And if we want to keep the church going, we have to change. Nothing is ever going to be the same again. And that's all right, because this church is founded in change. I wish y'all knew and can get to know the Reverend Cecil Williams, who was founded in the foundries of so many movements that kept changing the world: the civil rights movement, the women's movement, early liberation, queer liberation movements, everything. And each time we changed. And that's the only way we got here, is because we decided to meet the moment where it is. And you all are invited to be a part of that again. So don't forget to keep your phones out, because there'll be a couple QR codes that we'll want you to take a picture of. And if you feel like tweeting and posting that you are here and use the hashtag Glide Church, we won't be mad at you. If today is your first time being here, there's a QR code that will connect you to our Congregation Connects. That's our church newsletter. And if you want to stay in contact with us, it will show you how to be in contact and how we can stay connected to you. And if you're online, of course, there's a link in the chat where you can sign up for our Congregation Connects newsletter too. We're next going to move into our prayer time. And so that means our virtual prayer basket is open. And here in the sanctuary, you can submit a prayer by using the QR code there. Or there's a prayer basket here. There's a basket that has the unwritten slips, and then you put it in the basket like Pam is modeling now. And then there's clean pencils and used pencils. So make sure you pick the right ones. We want you to know that we pray for everybody, for whatever you need. If you need a prayer for yourself in the chat, write just me, and we will know that you need a prayer. We don't need to know what it is. And here, if you need a prayer for yourself, just write the word me or submit it online. If you need a prayer for your family, your house, your block, your neighborhood, your city, your state, this country, or the world, if you need something to happen, something not to happen, a door to open or a door to close, if you want to pray that someone comes close to you or someone goes very far away from you, like, we can pray for it all here, and we will. So please submit your prayers. And our prayer circle, oh my goodness, we meet every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. And it's an amazing time. Sometimes there's like 75, 80 prayers across the board, all kinds of things. Praying for our pets, praying for jobs, praying for recoveries, praying for diagnosis, praying for just love and light and caring, and we love to do it. So, can we pray? God of many names, God of many poems, God of many flora, God of many fauna, God of many oceans and God of many mountains, God of many states, God of many forms, God of many genders, God of many pronouns, God of many sexualities, God of many races, God of many tribes, God of many governments, God of many activists, God of many properties, God of many senses, God of many species, God of many ancestors, God of many descendants, God of many descendants, God of many viruses, God of many vaccines, God of many variants, God of many masks, God of many hopes. Interflow. Move freely in this service between distance and polarities that seem insurmountable. Interflow. Between left and right, evangelical and progressive, straight and gay, love and hate. Interflow. Stir the gifts of this community and this kingdom until we are spilling into each other, until we know that love can never be kept away from its intended. interflow. In the names of God that translate into love, and in the name of the 600,000 ancestors that we have gained through COVID, amen. Hallelujah. Right on. Shalom, salam, namaste, and ashe. And now please join your voice to ours for our community song.
Oh, yeah. Somebody pray for me. Have me on their mind. Have me on their mind. Took the time to pray for me. I'm so glad they prayed. I'm so glad they prayed. Yes, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad they prayed for me. My mother prayed. She had me on her mind, and she took the time to pray for me. I'm so glad she prayed. Yes, I'm glad she prayed. I'm so glad she prayed for me. Pray for me. He had me on his mind till the time. He took the time to pray for me. I'm so glad. I'm so glad he prayed. Yes, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad he prayed. I'm so glad. I'm so glad he prayed for me. The preacher prayed. The preacher prayed for me. Had me on his mind. Took his time to pray for me. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yes, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad he prayed. So glad. I'm so glad he prayed for me. My community prayed for me. Had me on his mind. Took the time to pray. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Yes, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad he prayed for somebody. Come on, we can sing. Somebody pray for me. Have me on their mind. Took the time to pray for me. I'm so glad. Yes, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad
Good morning. I hope you were singing along with our community song as we do every week. We love to sing here at Glide, and we just welcome everyone to come and sing. Right after our community song, we do our community embrace, and all that is that it's a good morning. It's a reach out to the other side of the aisle to say hello and good morning and just talk to the humanity of each and every one of us. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to take the time, put the names in the chat. And if you're in person, just reach out and say hello. And we'll have a few seconds of just embracing each other. over to you.
Weird, huh? Be comfortable in the sacred awkward. That's all I got. I'm also getting a look at myself. These COVID-25, like, your preacher is thick right now, just so you know. We are so excited because music remains an important part of this celebration. And Vernon, who is on vacation, who is in Switzerland right now, yeah, he'll be back in a couple of Sundays, and all of this is going to change again because Vernon is amazing musical director, but also a visionary in how we bring music into celebration. So he has selected some amazing music today. We have Derek Orth singing live today, and yes. And then we have some amazing music that you're going to see from Aaron Mixon and our very own Michelle Arcee. And we're going to sing and we're going to be sung to, and it's going to be amazing. So Derek Orth, why don't you sing that first song?
All right, I think we're all going to get it on. This song was in the 70s, but it seems purely applicable right now, whether you're living in Colorado or John. We can all be connected through practice together. All right, that song's called "The Telephone" by Nicola. It's nice to hear what's been. I really want to belong. You can love a song. Strange way you make me feel. Just a word or two. I have to do the same for you. It's nice to hear you say hello. How are things with you? I love you. But very soon it's time to go. Off this job, I'm writing songs to you. Change our phone call, make your day. Take you away, away from the feeling of being alone. Press the telephone. Oh, oh, oh. It's nice when you say my name. Very fast or slow, it's soft and low. Say, try to tell me how. I feel the same way you do. Very much you know.
I've learned to live for the sound of his laughter. His sunny smile is my only light. To love him now is the sole thing that I'm after. I'll make his melody my light. He came to me when I knew I'd lost the meaning. He lifted the shadows from across my way. He touched my heart with the sweet song that I'm singing. He brought back the sunlight into my day. Oh,
my burdens seem overbearing. He turns my tears with a simple sign. He taught me love, this love we all are sharing. Right now, he's every reason why. He is my Jesus, and I'm a witness to the wonders of his ways. Hey, yeah. He's my Jesus, the solitary reason for my day. Say yeah, I don't have to worry 'cause he's my Jesus. He is my Jesus, and I'm a witness to the wonders of his ways. Hey, yeah. He's my Jesus, the solitary reason. He's the solitary reason, the solitary reason. He is my Jesus, and I'm a witness to the wonders of his
Aaron Nixon. He's about
When my life was confused and I lost my way, I made a deal with the devil that I could not pay. God is my oasis in the desert when I'm dying of thirst. All I have to do is make sure he comes first. My God has carried me all the way. I'm confessing today 'cause he saved my life. He filled my soul with love, full of joy and strife. God is my oasis in the desert when I'm dying of thirst. All I have to do is make sure he comes first. My God has carried me over the worst.
We'll say that Steve is Paula. So wish Paula happy birthday. Great. So just a few announcements. You are invited to join us here in person. Our capacity will be set at 100 on a first come, first served basis. If you are participating from home, the capacity is unlimited. You can have as many people over as you want. We will not be checking, but we are so glad that you are a part of this celebration. If you are watching online, don't forget, let folks know you can watch us on Facebook, on YouTube. You can listen to us on our podcast station, on Podomatic, or wherever you listen to your podcast. We even have a call-in number. If you are not about this technology, you can just call in and listen on your house phone. And the Glide Ensemble is even on Spotify. So our whole discography is on Spotify. So if you need a Spotify playlist of Glide Ensemble music, it's all there. Don't forget to like our new Facebook page, our church Facebook page, where you can watch Sunday celebration as well. Let's see, if you want to come to Freedom Hall after church, if you're online, there will be a link in the chat for that. And if you are 60 plus and over here in San Francisco with an income level below the poverty line, Home Connect organization that we're working with is providing free tablets along with 5 hours of lessons for our seniors to be able to learn how to get online if they want to be a part of this online movement. Don't forget today at 1 o'clock online, Keeping It Real meets, and Keeping It Real is our recovery group from whatever you're in recovery from. The Reverend Cecil Williams says everyone is in recovery, and it's alcoholism or workaholism. It does not matter. Whatever is keeping you from being and living into your highest self, you are welcome to come to Keeping It Real. And for a full list of today's announcements, please visit us at glide.org/church announcements. Thank you for listening. We're going to have a special presentation by Steve/Paula, and then our guest witness for today will be Sarah Paredes. It is our sacred storytelling time, and Sarah will share her Glide story with you.
Thank you, Marvin. So it's backpack time here at Glide, and where we have a goal of raising enough money to buy 215 backpacks for our students who are in Glide Housing, Glide Family Youth and Child Care Center, and of course, Glide Kids. So you can help us do that by going to our website, glide.org/backtoschool. And $25 buys a backpack and supplies, as well as you can donate any amount. And we also need your prayers and your thoughts as the students return to school, because they've been on distance learning all year. So it'll be quite different to go back in the age of COVID. So please do not drop off items here at the church. And I also want to mention that Tyree and myself have been doing this. This is our 7th year. Great. So please do not drop off items at the church, but go to our website, glide.org/backtoschool, and simply donate there, and we'll buy the supplies for you. So as always, thank you for making this happen.
Hey, Glide family here and online. It's nice to be part of the Beta congregation. And as Marvin mentioned, we have people who are visiting for the first time who got to be part of the Beta congregation, because Glide is a welcoming place. And Marvin said to them, I wish that you had been able to see this place when Cecil was in action. And I'm old enough and San Franciscan enough to be lucky enough to have had that experience. And my first connection with Glide, before I was calm enough to sit down in a pew through a whole sermon, lovely as these are. It was hard to get me to sit still at that point. But I ended up in Janice's dance group that performed on the stage in the same way that we're used to the ensemble performing on the stage. So a lot of people say, oh, when they first came, they sat in the balcony and then they moved forward slowly. When I first came, I started up here in a little leotard and tights, and then I moved to the front row. And when I was ready to have a church home, I knew from interacting with Janice where I wanted to be because of Glide's values, and also because she talked about her history as being an incest survivor before people were as open about that kind of thing. And I wanted a place where I could be real, where I could come from a problematic family, where I could really come as I am. And Glide has been a lifeline to me over many years, and then particularly now during the pandemic. But I started leaning really hard into Glide again before the pandemic because I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was at a place in my life at the end of 2019 where I kind of wasn't really taking in connection with people. I was like, oh, people say they love me, but they're just nice, they're just polite, I don't deserve the unconditional love. And when I got the breast cancer diagnosis, I had to lean into Glide again. And there is or was a group called the Art and Empowerment Women's Group that Janice had started, that we had met weekly for a number of years doing art, doing projects, and sharing each other's lives and caring deeply about each other. And now we're more of a yearly, quarterly hangout for dinner group until the pandemic. And one time Janice said to me something that I've also heard Cecil say. She said, I love you. And then she said, I mean it. And what is unusual for me is that even before she got to I mean it, I had run through to she means it. I know that this is real. She knows me as I am, and she loves me. And Glide is come as you are. And that's going to be okay. Not that I don't drive people crazy some of the time. And but then when I show up next week, I'm still held in embrace. And then recently in an email, Janice wrote to me, I love you fiercely. And I realized that's what Glide love is. Glide is the fierce love. Glide is the love that gets in the cracks when you don't really think that you are worthy of that love. Glide is the love that shows up for people. Glide is the love that is related to the foundation that feeds people, that vaccinates people, that tests people. And it would be very hard for me to find another church home after this. And then when the pandemic started, I was actually supposed to be the witness on the first Sunday that we canceled because it was International Women's Day. And my connection to Glide is so much through women. And at that point, I had breast cancer surgery and I was looking forward to radiation treatment. And I'm a nurse and I was working at San Francisco General, which is kind of the epicenter of epidemic care and scariness. And Glide did not skip a beat. There was no Sunday without Glide. The Sunday that I didn't come here, I went online and instantly it was there. There was community. It's been my lifeline and my love line and my light line. And I am so grateful to Marvin, to Perry, to Mark, to Reggie, to Martin, to Pam. Pam's walking around with tissues like she used to before, and there have been many a time when I've been in tears in the pews and Pam has given me one and then maybe come back to give me a couple others. And today I felt like I don't I didn't need a tissue, but seeing Pam walk by with the tissues actually right after she passed, I'm like, I kind of do need a tissue actually. So I want to thank you all, welcome you all. If you're new to Glide, you all have made such a difference to me in so many times, and especially in this time. So my name is Sarah, and I am Glide.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for your witness and for your testimony. This is our giving time, and we're going to take up an offering right now. I love what Sarah just said, that Glide was her lifeline, her love line, and her light line. And that's who we want to be to a very hurt and broken world. We believe that when these doors swing open next week, folks who are shell-shocked from these 15 months of the pandemic, of isolating, will come into these doors and want to find community really quickly. They'll want someone to see them and look into their eyes and let them know that you are here and you made it through the pandemic. And we want to be here to collect all the stories about how people survived a pandemic. Like, we don't want to become our grandparents who couldn't talk about the things that they went through. Like, we want to be a community that collects stories and tells stories and let each other know how we made it through. And that's who Glide is, and that's who you would be giving to, is to help us to continue to be this community of folks who are receiving the people exactly as they are. They don't need to know church, need to know God, need to know religion. They don't need to know anything except that they can come through those doors exactly how they are, with more questions than answers, and we will receive them. So we're going to ask you right now, if you believe in that vision, please give and give generously. Our ushers are going to Thank you all for your giving today. I love you, and I mean it. I love you fiercely. We're going to hear one more song from Vernon Bush featuring Leah Ticey and the Glide Ensemble, and then I'll be back to introduce our very special guest preacher for today, Nicola Torbett. So please enjoy the song, and I'll come back and introduce Nicola.
Too close to turn back to a world of sin, and I'll take nothing off on my journey now. No, see, I gotta make it to heaven somehow.
Too close to finally reaching my goal. I said I'm too close to finally saving my soul. I tell you that I'm too close. I won't turn around, no, yeah. I'm too close. I can almost see God's face. I'm a little bit too close. I gotta tell the world of this saving grace, and I am so close, 'cause she's holding my hand, and I know it's gonna take me to the promised land.
Too close, I can almost see my grandfather's face. Oh, I'm a little bit too close. I wanna tell you about his saving grace.
I tell you that I'm too close.
Oh, yeah.
I hope one day y'all will get to experience the Change Band in person. As soon as they create electronic trombones, you got to come back. It's going to be a great time. I want to introduce our special guest preacher for today. She is a friend of mine. She is a minister at the Lay Church in Oakland called First Congregational Church of Oakland. Nicola Torbett is a spiritual seeker, gospel preacher, podcaster, writer, resistance fomentor, dog walker, and nonviolent direct action trainer. Driven by her passion for both spiritual formation and social change, she co-founded Seminary of the Street, a training academy for love warriors in 2009. And then she co-founded Second Acts, a liturgical direct action affinity group in 2014. She's the co-editor of Recipients. I can say Recipients, but I can't say Azerbaijan. Recipients, a Lenten devotional for dismantling white supremacy, and a frequent contributor to The Word is Resistance, a podcast from Surge Faith. Surge is standing up for racial justice, as well as to Infleshed, RadicalDiscipleship.net, and G's Magazine. She is a friend of Glide's and she's a friend of mine. Nicola Torbett, everybody.
Thank you so much, Marvin. Thank you, Glide, both those who are gathered here and those online. It is an honor and a privilege to be with you this morning. This has been a very important pulpit and one that I have watched for a long time. So this is called Your Integrity is Not Flammable. There is a part of you that can never, ever be taken from you, cannot be sullied, cannot be co-opted, cannot be killed. This part of you is something I will call your integrity. It is made up of who you are created to be, the people you come from, the web of life that has sustained you all these years. Your integrity is your umbilical cord connecting you to the source of all the love in the universe. And that connection can never be severed. It can be ignored. It can be buried. You can try to walk away from it, but it will never actually leave you. Your integrity is not flammable. Let me tell you a story. Once, not so very long ago, there were 3 young people. History has assigned them he, him pronouns, but I don't think history asks. So we will just refer to them by their names. Except that their real names have been lost to us. You see, these young ones, their people had been overrun by a mighty and land-hungry empire. And the most promising young people, including our subjects here, were taken away as prisoners of war, seized from their families and communities and brought to the emperor's court, where they were re-educated or civilized, if you will. Think Indian boarding schools, think re-education camps, think scholarship kids at the private boarding schools. As part of this process, these young people were given new names, names from the imperial language, names that maybe were easier for their captors to pronounce, names that made more sense to the good citizens of the empire. How many know that naming is power? Our friends' new names were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they were smart and talented kids, so the functionaries of the land groomed them for leadership. Leadership within the very empire that had ripped their lives and their families apart. This is what empires do. They offer us secure roles in exchange for our loyalty to the regime. Anyway, around this time, the emperor fashioned for himself a god, a golden statue that he had placed just outside the courtly walls. I don't know the name of this god, but it might have been named the economy, or profit margin, or respectability, or social status, or whiteness, or buy now before this deal gets away, something like that. And then the emperor issued a decree to all those who kept the empire running: the judges and lawyers, the doctors and social workers, the teachers and nonprofit directors, the pastors and the Amazon warehouse workers. Henceforth, he said, because he loved to use fancy words like henceforth. Whenever you hear the sound of the advertising jingle, the cash register, the Venmo app, the police siren, the national anthem, the text notification, or the ice cream truck, you will bow down and worship the God of the empire. And whoever does not bow down and worship will be thrown into a furnace of blazing fire. Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the advertising jingle, the cash register, the Venmo app, the police siren, the national anthem, the text notification, or the ice cream truck, the people of all races and ethnicities, all genders and sexual orientations, all job descriptions and social positions bowed down to worship the God that the emperor had set up, the God of the money and the status and the respectability. Now, around this time, some especially ambitious subjects of the empire came forward. Maybe they were clergy with a thin veneer of propriety. Or maybe they were Karens with concerns about law and order. Or maybe they were just trying to curry favor with power. But anyway, these favor-seeking ones denounced our three captive bureaucrats, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, saying, "Oh, Emperor, you great one, you have issued a decree that whenever anyone hears the sounds of the advertising jingle, the cash register, the Venmo app, the police siren, the national anthem, the text notification, or the ice cream truck, they should bow down and worship the God of the more money or more status or more respectability. But there are three oppressed people who will not bow down." Then in a rage, the emperor called for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, to be brought before him and said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not worship the gods that I have set up and do not serve them? Now, if you are prepared, when you hear the sound of the advertising jingle, the cash register, the Venmo app, the police siren, the national anthem, the text notification, or the ice cream truck, to bow down, then well and good. But if not, you shall immediately be thrown into the blazing furnace. And what God will come to your rescue then?" And then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, "Sir, we have no defense to present to you in this matter. If the God we serve, the God of integrity and liberation and love, can save us, then let them save us. But if not, let it be known to you that we still will not serve your gods and we will not worship the golden statue that you have set up." Enraged, the king ordered all his servants to assemble, the judges and lawyers, the doctors and nurses, the teachers and nonprofit directors, the pastors and the Amazon warehouse workers. Then in front of everyone, he ordered his court police, his border patrol, and his military to seize Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He had them bound, mouth, hands, and feet, and he ordered the furnace heated to 7 times its usual temperature. When they had done this, he ordered them to throw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the flames. Eyewitnesses report that the furnace was so hot that those soldiers who threw them in were consumed instantly. In just a little while, the emperor's mouth fell open in astonishment, and he called his closest advisors and asked them, "Was it not 3 people that we had bound, mouth and hands and feet, and thrown into the flaming furnace just now?" "Yes, sir," they replied. "Why then do I see 4 people walking around in the flames, unbound and unharmed, and with the 4th having the appearance of a god?" Terrified now, the emperor ordered the furnace door to be opened, and out stepped Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, completely unharmed. And the emperor fell to his knees and worshiped the God of integrity, love, and liberation. This is a story adapted from the book of Daniel, chapter 3. Who are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? What were their names before the empire got hold of them? Their names might have been Colin Kaepernick, or Lil Nas X, or Harsha Walia, who was just fired from her civil rights organization for tweeting the phrase, "burn it all down." Maybe their names were Edward Snowden, or Nicole Hannah-Jones of the 1619 Project, or Tanya Abed of the Anishinaabe women who are fighting the Line 3 oil pipeline in Minnesota. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are the whistleblowers, the water protectors, the Black freedom fighters, the boundary bosses who know their own limits and honor them, the lovers of life, the queer and trans people who insist on being who they were created to be, the revolutionaries by birth or by choice who will neither bow nor bend, nor worship the God of the dominant culture. In other words, how you're supposed to act. In a sense, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could bear any of our names. In the context in which we are now living, we are all prisoners of war in the attack on our humanity and on life itself. Some of us, granted, are made to feel more comfortable within that regime than others. Those of us who are white, those of us who are cisgender and heterosexual, those of us with wealth. While our integrity is not flammable, it is sometimes hard to locate beneath the layers of privilege. But the point is that we are all, in one way or another, being groomed to take our place within the systems of extraction. For some of us, the only legal way out of poverty is to join the police force or the border patrol or the military. Same organizations that terrorize the people we come from. Others of us are tricked into positions where we think we can help, only to find that we are gatekeeping access to resources or teaching others to become better cogs in the machine that is ripping up their lives. The point is that we are all, in one way or another, being asked to bend our knees to the gods of empire. Our bodies are broken from the bending. Our knees are calloused from the kneeling. Most days, my own legs buckle before I even think about it. But Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego model something different. They would not bow, they would not bend, they would not worship the false gods of the empire. They chose instead their loyalty to the poor people from whom they came, their loyalty to the endangered orangutan and blue whale and the redwood tree, and their loyalty to what they know to be true, that their integrity was not and is not flammable. That the God they knew, the God they worshiped, the God who made them who they are with all of their creativity and brilliance and resourcefulness that caused the empire to promote them in the first place, the God who was their creativity, brilliance, and resourcefulness because they were created in that God's image, that same God who created the coral reefs and the rainforest with all their creatures, that God was worth standing with. And so they said no to the worship of the gods of empire. And they were not obstreperous about it. There was no bravado in their words. This was not a my God can whoop your God kind of thing, a triumphalist smackdown in the divine boxing match. These young resistors say, we don't actually know whether our God can save us. But what we do know is that we can't bow down and worship all of this. This kind of vulnerability, I think, is both our birthright and our true condition. It is what it means to be human. And it is only the privileges of empire that make us confused about this. The truth is, when it comes right down to it, we have only our love to save us. Many of those who will not or cannot bow down to the gods of prosperity or heteronormativity or whiteness because of who they are and who they have been created to be, many of them do not survive, not embody. What our faith teaches us is that even if we are thrown into the flaming furnace, even if we are hung from a cross or a lynching tree, even if we are condemned by the family or the nation that birthed us, even if the worst happens and our bodies are burned up, there is something that lives on, something that cannot be consumed, because our integrity is not flammable. Now, I want to be clear, not everyone has equal access to this choice. For some, it is bow down or don't eat. Worship, or your children will not eat. So resistance cannot be some heroic individual effort. Our integrity is not individual. It binds us in solidarity to others so that we can transform the systems that ravage our people. And all people are our people. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were able to take the risk they did because they were part of a larger community of resistance. That's Glide. They knew their connection to their people and to the web of life. They felt that umbilical cord that connected them to all things. Integrity is not flammable, but neither is it individual. And this brings us to that mysterious fourth figure in the flames, the one the emperor saw walking with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the one who had the appearance of a god. Christians can't help but read this fourth one as Jesus. And I believe that is right and true, in the sense that Jesus was a brown-skinned man who likewise would not or could not bow to the systems who were destroying his people, and who instead, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, chose to love to the death. The fourth one in the flames, I think, is the incarnation of all the love of all the people throughout all history who have chosen to stand with life, rather than bend to the false gods of profit or status or comfort or safety. I'm talking about Mahatma Gandhi and Mike Brown, Stephen Biko and Bob Moses, who I just heard joined the ancestors this morning, Nelson Mandela and Alex Nieto, Martin Luther King and Philando Castile. There is a fellowship of the flames, a fire family that ensures that when we risk ourselves for love, we will never walk alone. Our vulnerability is made strong in community. Friends, in a time of this much violence and exploitation, we are either functionaries tending the furnace or we are bound for the fire. Some of us get to choose, others do not, are bitten by the bullet before they have a chance. So many beloveds have already crossed through the flames to join the fellowship of fire. If you look, I think you can make them out. They're celebrating there, dancing there, living and loving and waiting to welcome us home. Because like them, because of them, our integrity is not flammable. Amen.
Thank you so much, Nicola. Y'all should turn to your neighbor and say, your integrity is not flammable. Absolutely amazing, Nicola. Such an amazing storyteller you are, and theologian and recipient. Thank you all for being here today. I love you fiercely. Janice Mirkatani, I love you fiercely. Cecil Williams, we love you fiercely. You are all invited to come back next week to our 9 and 11 a.m. celebrations. If you're online, feel free to join us in Freedom Hall. There's a link in the chat right now. Next Sunday is our official first Sunday. You're all invited back, of course. And that's it. We have enjoyed being in this celebration with you today. I hope you'll tell some friends that Clyde we've been we've been struggling with this word return to church or return to worship. And it gets keep pointing out that we never stopped going to church. So we're not returning. We're just integrating this in-person with our online church. But we hope you'll join us again. Thank you again for being with us here today. And Vernon, why don't you sing us out?
We have reached the end of our celebration, and I hope you had a good time, wonderful, loving, joyous time. And as we do here at Glide, we sing this song that we've been singing for so many years. We shall overcome. Won't you join with us right now? Here we go. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome today. We shall all be free. We shall all be free. We shall all be free today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome today. Oh, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome. That we shall overcome. That we shall overcome today. God bless you.